8 out of 10 people I see come to me saying that they need to lose weight. A couple of them say I need to lose fat. But here's the thing, it's partially not their fault. It's because every time they go to a healthcare professional with a problem, they are told you lose some weight and come. Your problem was 50% solved. Now, who will tell them that weight loss should be a byproduct of you getting healthy and not your ultimate goal? Anyways, conversation for another time. Now, say your target is to lose weight. Okay. The first thing that you would do is cut out on snacks. You see some results and then it slows down. The next thing that you do is you cut down on the portion sizes, the amount of food you're eating. You see some results and then again it slows down. The next thing you would do is you cut out one entire meal from your day and then call it intermittent fasting, which it absolutely is not. Conversation for another time. When you're doing all of this, you're cutting down an entire meal. What you're doing is you're slowing down your metabolism because your body spends energy to digest, absorb, and assimilate the food that you eat, right? You're going to chew, you need energy just mechanically, right? If the food has to move from here to your stomach, peristalsis should occur. That needs energy. Your enzymes should be produced, your acids should be produced. That needs energy. Your body is supposed to mechanically churn the food. That needs energy. It's supposed to absorb the nutrients after it's digested. That needs energy. After it's being absorbed, it's supposed to be going to the liver, from the liver to different parts of the body. That needs energy. All of this needs energy. And when you're cutting down on food as such, you are not spending this much amount of energy. Okay. This is called thermic effect of food. The energy your body spends to digest food. So if you're looking at fat loss, what should you technically be doing? Is stop cutting down on your quantity of food. Instead, focus on how your quality is, right? Go for your complex plates, proteins, fibers, complex carbs. That's it. Stick to the basics. Do this for a long time. Do this consistently, and then you see results. Now, this is just the food part handling your entire metabolism. Another part of your metabolism is your NEAT, your non exercise energy expenditure. You're working out 1 hour, awesome, good for you. But throughout the day, how active are you? That also decides how your metabolism is. Even if you're working your ass off in the gym, your metabolism is going to be bad. Most of us have like a desk job. There's no hard and fast rule that you need to be seated in your desk. You can get up every 30 minutes, move, walk, right? That builds your metabolism. Just sitting up straight, even that needs energy. And I'm sure everybody can do that. The TEF, that is your body's ability to spend energy to digest, absorb, and assimilate food. It can be between 20 to 25% of your metabolism. All right. The NEAT, what I'm talking about, that's your non-exercise energy expenditure. It can vary between 10 to 30%, and that depends on you. And then 50 to 70% is determined by your BMR, which is the basal metabolic rate. That's whenever you are at rest, right? How much energy is your body spending? Why will the body spend energy when you're at rest? One is to breathe. Two is your blood circulation keeps happening. That also needs energy. And while the circulation is happening, ion exchanges happen. That is ATP dependent. Protein turnover is happening. That's constant breakdown and synthesis of protein is happening. Plus, you have cellular maintenance. Your cells have to be alive, so they have to be working all the time. That also requires energy. What can you do here? Just look at how you're breathing. Shallow breathing requires this much energy. If you are constantly aware of how you're breathing, your BMR can be increased. And then your brain is also working. That requires 20% of your BMR. Now, how can you increase your BMR? One I told you is like breathe. Second thing is your muscle also has this 20% of BMR. So if you build muscle, your rate of spending energy even at rest is higher. Third thing you can do is do not go on restrictions, because if you're going on severe caloric restrictions, it affects your thyroid, it affects your leptin, so cascade of events. The next thing that you can do is increase your micronutrients. If you just take in your micronutrients, they're going to work. They're not just going to sit in your body. And for them to work, energy is going to be spent. And lastly, there's my favorite part, the circadian rhythm. Your sleep routine and timings absolutely impact how your BMR is. Now, for someone who already knows this concept of, you have to be physically active throughout the day, not just that 1 hour, you have to be increasing your BMR, your muscle is important and stuff, but you're eating less. What you're doing is you're neuroregulating your brain to go into energy conservation. That means your body learns to spend less energy to do the same activity. And that is suppressed metabolism again. Calorie restriction is a good thing, but you should always be on a smaller calorie restriction. Say you need 1,800, you're doing a 1,200 calorie diet. How long can that be efficient? How long can you run a vehicle on an empty fuel tank? The idea is stop eating less, stop moving less, and stop breathing like you don't know to breathe. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Okay, bye.